Have you ever been growing herbs or pretty much any plant in your garden and you decided that you wanted to propagate some? So you brought it inside and you put it in a glass jar, or you just set it on your windowsill and watched it until it got enough roots that you could actually plant it. We're going to be talking about propagating our indoor plants in water and what I, for whatever reason, never noticed before. If you are new here, welcome. I'm Pam, and this is where we talk about all kind of tips, tricks, hacks, and growing in containers and small spaces, or indoor plants as well. This is a piece of mint. I typically take a piece of my herbs all the time. I've done it with oregano. I've done it with parsley, mint. I can't even begin to name the plants that I've done this with. I typically like to keep some on my windowsill for two reasons. I bring in usually more than this, but I'm actually propagating this for my daughter's container. So I just brought in a little bit, but I'll bring in a big group of herbs about this size, and I keep them on my windowsill so that when I'm cooking, if it's raining or super cold or something's going on outside, I don't have to go out there just to get a pinch for what I'm cooking. And it also propagates while it's waiting. So I typically bring it in, fill up a glass jar, sit it on my windowsill, and go about my business. Well, this plant has been here for 2 months, okay? I've just been watching it. Look how clear the water is. See how clear that water is? This water has not been changed in 2 months, 2 whole months. This plant has been there for about maybe a little less than a month. It's clear too. Haven't changed it either. This plant has been there for about maybe a week and a half at most. And look at it. Look how cloudy it is. I have no clue of why I never paid attention to this before. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you all have paid attention. Now, when I water my plants outside, starting with last year or year before last, it's been recently, I started putting a filter on my hose for that purpose. I love it when it rains. I do not collect rainwater yet for several reasons. That's a whole nother video, but I am planning to collect rainwater, but I have a few issues as far as collecting it right now. So I just put a filter on my hose and I use my hose to water all of my plants outside. And they always flourish when I do that. As a matter of fact, yes, that filter helped them flourish more. I only grow in containers. For those of you all who are new, I only grow in containers. I have a 100% container garden. I have not one plant in ground, and I don't have any in a raised bed. And if you don't know the difference, a raised bed, although it looks like a container, it is not a container because it's open under the bottom so that your roots can continue to go down. It just contains the plants on the outside, on the above ground level, but your roots can still go in the ground, and with containers, they cannot. You only have a limited space for your containers. And if you are new to the channel, take a second and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget, everyone, hit that like button. So I bring them in, I fill them up with water, and I sit them in my windowsill in my kitchen, and that is their home until I'm either ready to replant them or use them. So recently we had a gathering, and in this gathering we had a lot of people here, and we were drinking bottled water along with a few other beverages. And at the end of the day, I had all these half-filled or fourth-filled water bottles laying around. And my same oldest daughter that I'm doing this mint for, she said, "Mom, you want me to?" She said, "Mom, I'm going to put these bottles over here. You can just use this water for your plants instead of pouring it out." And I thought to myself, okay, I'm thinking when she said that, I'm not going to take these bottles of water outside and pour them on my plants. I wasn't thinking indoors. I wasn't thinking propagating. But that was a couple of months ago. And I was cutting this plant off, actually, for my son to regrow it for him. And I said, you know what, let me just fill this jar with some of this water I have sitting over there. And I did so. The only other thing that I have done is I typically put tape around the top so that the plants will grow upright and not lean over. Like this is leaning over because there's no tape there. You see this? This is sitting straight up because I have the top taped with a little bit of hole in the middle to water it with. And I noticed, I kept waiting and waiting. First of all, the water did not evaporate very fast. Out of the 2 months, I maybe filled this up to the top maybe once a week, and it's just below the rim. I only have it filled to the rim, period. I have it filled to the rim right here, and it's just a little bit. I only have to put a drop of water in here. It's not evaporating, and as you can see, it's crystal clear. This, on the other hand, after a week and a half, this is pure tap water. Every time I fill this up now, I use extra bottled water. Sometimes I make a cup of coffee and I don't use a whole bottle. Typically, I would drink it, but if it's just a little bit and it needs filling, I go ahead and fill it up. The same with this plant too. And it's the bacteria, and they put in chlorine and fluoride and other chemicals to so-called clean and protect our tap water. But all those chemicals are bad for our plants. Now, we all know that. That's why we like rainwater. That's why we put filters on our hoses. But I thought I'd come on and talk about it because as long as I've been gardening, it never dawned on me when I bring my cuttings inside to propagate them that I do not need to use tap water on those either. It just never dawned on me. So I thought, who else hasn't thought about it? Okay. Simple tap water. I'm using just simple bottled water, and it's not a specific kind. We have more than one kind of bottled water in there, so it's not a specific kind of bottled water. But when you're propagating your plants, if you can use bottled water, now I haven't used distilled water. I typically don't have distilled water around unless I'm using it for something specific, but I always have bottled water around. You can try distilled water, but if you can do it with bottled water, because and you don't have to use a jar this big. You can use whatever size container you want to use. But once you get it filled up with that bottled water, or even maybe if you collect rainwater, gather you some rainwater to propagate your plants in and continue to water it with that. I will never put my plants that I bring inside to propagate with tap water again. I won't do that. And I'm just so surprised in myself that I didn't realize that until now. So I wanted to let you all know that. Let me know in the comments how many of you all have been actually propagating cuttings in regular water and had not even thought about the fact that you're not watering anything else with regular water. Why in the world would you put your cuttings in regular water? Look at the difference. Look at that. Isn't that something? I mean, my goodness. I mean, when you look at this one, crystal clear. When you look at this one, it's foggy, it's dirty, and they start to smell after a while. They start to smell. This smells nothing. Well, this doesn't smell yet because it hasn't been long enough, but it needs to be changed. So I'll change it, rinse it off, and start it over again with some bottled water. Okay. Again, if you are new to the channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I'm inside, but this was important. Take a second and subscribe to the channel and turn that notification bell on so that you won't miss anything. For my returning subscribers, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you keep coming back and enjoying me in my garden. And for my channel members, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And if you are not a part of the Scaredy Cat crew, come on over. We're going to be doing some fun things really, really soon. Okay, I'm Pam, and this is Zone 8A. Anywhere you can sit a pot, you can grow a plant.